My name is Maria Allewald, and why I'm here today is that my husband is terminally ill and we expect him to maybe die tomorrow or the next 6 months. As we face that final passage to eternity, we were talking about how do you want to be buried, and we looked at the internet and saw different websites. So we wanted to be buried in a forest, and we saw on the internet that in South Carolina they have these beautiful forests. But as the time grew near that Gil is going to be going home, we saw that also in Pittsburgh a group of people started already long before we knew that the process of having a memorial site, a park, where we can have green funerals. That was very attractive to us, so we, as a couple, we decided this is what we want to do.
My name is Pete McQuillan, and I am the manager of Penn Forest Natural Burial Park, Pennsylvania's first green cemetery, exclusively green cemetery, and a little different from what most people think of as a cemetery. We're burying people in the woods. We use biodegradable coffins or shrouds to bury people in burial containers. And we use natural stones for grave markers, if people want markers at all.
People don't like talking about death, don't like talking about funerals. It's going to happen. We're all going to die. This is a natural part of life. It's coming to the end as we know it. We should be prepared for that.
Part of the money, we sell cemetery lots, and part of the money from the sales of those lots goes right into the restoration of the forest. So people who come here want to have an environmentally friendly burial, but they also probably resonate with the idea of doing forest restoration.
I'm so very proud to be a part of this, and so enthusiastic and motivated and appreciative that we're keeping this 20 to 30 acres as natural as possible, and that the wildlife can continue to live here and the trees can continue to grow, and someday I'll be a part of all this.
It's a gift to be simple, it's a gift to be free, it's a gift to come down where you ought to be. When you find yourself in a place just right, it will be in the valley of love and delight.
I think that the shift has been that people are not satisfied with the whole process of burial that as we've been practicing in this country.
For most of my life, I assumed that I would be cremated. And then when I read about green burial, I thought, really, this is the option that makes the most sense, to return my body to the earth in a natural and rather sacred way, without poisoning my body with chemicals or burning it up into the atmosphere.
Penn Forest is the first exclusively green cemetery in Pennsylvania. What that means is all of the burials in this whole cemetery are green burials. So when you come onto the property, it looks very natural. It doesn't look like a typical cemetery that you think of with, granite headstones and, upright markers or mausoleums. It's like a forest or a park. It's more like if you go to City Park or go out in the country, it's just, make the land look like it did before humans came onto the scene.
Dignity in what you do with a person when they died. It's beautiful. If I can wash him myself, if I don't have to put all sorts of things into his body, but just being very natural and dignified in the way of how I treat my husband, even when he's dead. The second would be simplicity. I do not want to be caught up in all this materialistic thinking about funeral, but want to be focused on what is really important and simple, and that would be to bury people like they did it 100 years ago.
My example to people who ask this, is it legal? And I say, yes, it's legal. Think about what's happened in the state of Pennsylvania with all the rural farmhouses over the years. A family member dies. What happens? Simple coffin, back on the property, underneath some trees someplace. That has been the tradition here. for hundreds of years. It would be the tradition in many societies around the world for thousands of years. There is nothing that we're doing here that's different. We're returning to a very natural way.
I explain the principles of green burial to people, about how we try not to harm the environment. And they listen to that, but when I tell people that we're going to bury them between trees in the woods, they really like that idea, and so do I.
I've been getting very positive responses in some very surprising places. People are excited. They're not keen on the American burial practices that we have, and this is an environmental way to go, and they're looking for the same thing that I'm looking for.
So this is our desire, and Gil is looking forward to be part of that, and I'm looking forward to celebrate his life, and part of life is his death, and so a funeral can really be a celebration of life.
After a period of 50 or 100 years, you won't know it's a cemetery. Those areas we'll keep track of where people are buried, of course, but the land will be a forest. It'll be a park setting, and we'll have paths through there, and people can enjoy it as a nature preserve as well.
As the body decays, it will feed the plants above, which will feed the animals and wildlife and birds. I like the thought of the future. Many years from now, people can go bird watching and hiking and watching small animals and larger animals on that property, and contributing a little bit of me to that.
To come to a place to have a green funeral is a process. It's not a decision that I make overnight, but it's a constant thinking about what is really life about. We know that our days are numbered, so we want to live very aware of what we do, and then also we want to be aware of how we finish and end our lives. And for that we have, over years, we have thought about that and come to the point of stepping away from what's cultural acceptable and being bold and starting to think outside of the box and thinking about what is really what we want to do even in the last days here in this world, how we want to die, and then also how we want to be buried. So all of it is a very natural progression for us that highlights what we value, what life is about for us, and how we would like to see kind of going back to the roots of enjoying life and being ready for death.
It's a gift to be simple, it's a gift to be free, it's a gift to come down where you ought to be. When you find yourself in a place just right, it will be in the valley of love and delight.
So if you have a choice between traditional cemetery burial or one that's more environmentally friendly, we think a lot of people are going to take the more environmentally friendly, less costly choice of green burial.
Penn Forest is a beautiful piece of property. Forested, it's got meadows, surrounded by a stream, some very huge, beautiful trees. I'd like to share that with you. Come and enjoy it. We want it to be a place for people. It's next to a community park. We would invite people to come and walk through there and appreciate the whole area now and perhaps for eternity.